Hello? Hello? Found a really interesting model here that I'm just going to have a closer look at. She's a four-masted bark. She's flying the Finnish colours, which gives us a bit of a pointer as to who she might be. She's white. She's got a split gaff on her spanker, which is suggests she's probably built originally maybe for the Leys line, the German line. She'd be a steel vessel built for thrashing to windward round Cape Horn, probably bringing home guano for the chemical factories of Northern Europe. These vessels were built in the 1890s, 1900, 1910, and they were the last of the heavy-duty sailing ships. They were called windjammers because that's what they did. But the model is fantastic because the world is full of rotten models of sailing ship. Go to any pub and there they are, studded all over the walls, and you look at them and you think, oh no, why didn't they just lead that brace right? Well, looking at this man Baxter, he knows what he's about. I bet he's done time at sea. Look at this. Everything's spot on. The braces are going in the right direction. I've just spotted a painting. And it's the model. It's the same model. Now let's have a look at this painting. Why has he done the painting of the model? She's on a window seat with a window behind her, and we're looking out at the sea and a little headland. And I reckon that's just outside the entrance to Salcombe Harbour, down in the West Country, which means that we're looking out at Stairhole Bay, which is where Herzogenaurach Cecilia sank in the years, I think, shortly before World War II. Maybe Colin will correct me on that when he comes in, because he's obviously done his homework. But isn't that wonderful? That's just great. We've got the model and we've got the painting. It's such a feast for the eyes in here that it's hard to know what to home in on, really. But sometimes less is more. And I've just spotted this little lugger here. Penzance, it says, PZ. So that's a Penzance lugger, probably a mackerel driver. I'm just going to pick her up because just look at the details that this man Colin Baxter has put into this little vessel. Look at the way the halyard for the lug comes down to the rail. It comes down to windward because this is a dipping lugger, and when she tacks, all that lot comes round the mast and that goes over to the other side and supports the mast. We've got a similar arrangement here on the mizzen, which is supported by an outrigger with a little spar on the clew there, which is always a nice thing to have a spar because it makes it easier to sheet. You can move your sheet around on that and get the lead just right. And look what we've got here on this lug topsail. Again, it's got a club yard there to extend its luff, and it's got a bowline on the luff. These two little lines here that come down to the deck, that's there to sharpen up the luff when you're going to windward. And that's a detail that nobody would ever see, but Colin Baxter's seen it.
Hi Tom, you enjoying the models there, Tom?
Yeah, I'm glad you're here actually, Colin. This, I'm sure, is Herzogenaurach Cecilia.
It is.
Did she start off as a Leys line vessel or
No,
not?
no.
Oh, I got it wrong.
She was Norddeutsche Lloyd as a cadet ship, built in Bremerhaven, Werft.
Yeah.
I had a studio in Bremerhaven for a while, so I got to know an awful lot about some of the ships around there, when things were built. She was built as a cadet ship, so that's why she's got a slightly longer run here to accommodate all the cadets.
Yeah.
But I picked up this model back last year. It was a bit of a state, and I've spent about 3 months rebuilding the whole thing. But what I like with models like this, as I'm making them, I'm learning more about the ship as well, because I'm doing the research.
Yep.
But then I use models sometimes when I'm painting. But this one I like so much, I decided to do a painting of the ship itself.
Yeah.
But there's another thing, I don't know if you spotted this. Did you see the bookend?
What's that then?
Well, it's here in the painting. So some of the books there in the painting.
Oh, so it is. I didn't pick that up.
That's a painting of a book called The Duchess about Herzogin Cecile.
My wife Ros has read and loved that book.
And as you know, I'm sure, she was wrecked down near Salcombe.
Yeah.
This bookend, it's off the wreck. When she was wrecked, the locals were getting all sorts of bits and pieces off her.
They would, wouldn't they?
Ericsson had salvaged all the good stuff that he wanted because he kept his fleet going by taking off masts and spars, and they salvaged as much cargo as they could. The ship's boats, the wheel, the figurehead got taken off. That's at a museum. I think the locals, they were taking off bits of timber. They would have been carving up things like this, selling it in the local tea shops.
Well, it's fanciful, but it's the business, isn't it?
I already knew of the ship because I've already got a little tiny model of it in my cabinet over here, which I made years ago.
I see.
So as soon as I spotted this, I thought, ooh, but I still ended up having to rebuild a lot, make the figurehead. I re-rigged the whole thing.
Well, the rigging is an absolute masterpiece. I think it's a wonderful job.
I find models are a useful tool when you come to paint. If you can look at plans and build a model, when it comes to painting something, you can think, oh, that brace is going here, that forestay is coming here, you need tacks on these sheets, and it works the whole thing in your head.
This model has delighted me, and I'm standing here. I've just picked up a painting off your table over here. I mean, this is Lou. Look, that's
Lou luggers are slightly different to the ones a wee bit further down west.
And what about the rig?
It's still pretty much the same. I've still got a lot to learn about lug rig. I'm okay with gaff, I'm okay with spritzel, I'm okay with square rig, but I still have to get my books out and photos out when I'm working on luggers.
I think most of us have a lot to learn about luggers.
That's why making models of them is also useful as well. But rigs evolve.
Fascinating. Yeah.
I like looking at these. I collect and buy old photos and postcards, which are handy for working. It helps in my understanding of the regional types of rig as well. For model making, for painting, sometimes the old photos you think, oh, actually, that's a really nice angle, but I'll leave that boat out, I'll add another one in. This sort of view here, that might have been worked up from various old postcards, but I've been to Lou, I know what it's like, early morning light, so I like light on the water. So things are slightly backlit, you're getting little highlights on the sweeps.
Yeah.
And this is painted on a tinted paper, so the whole thing's got a nice yellowy morning
it's
feel to it.
It's really lovely. I love this
Oh,
painting.
cheers, Tom. I didn't go to art school.
You didn't?
No. I did O-levels. I only did an A-level in like 2 terms because I was rubbish at the maths and physics and ended up failing all of those. My dad, he was Royal Navy, so I guess I'd always been around ships of one sort or another. Growing up at Leon Solent, that helped. You see everything come through the Solent, yachts, dinghies, all the big cruise ships coming through, warships coming through. I also got interested in the older craft. Back in '82, watching the parade of sail, I thought, oh God, what have I missed? I then did paintings of them, And I did paintings of the Parade of Sail as seen from Lee Seafront through a pair of binoculars. And I got more interested in that. Then when I learnt there was another tall ships race going on, I went to the port and visited. So I got interested more in traditional sail, started buying books, magazines, making model boats. You then learn more about the rigging. I then got involved with the sailing barge, the Kitty, and I knew a lot about the rig walking on there because I'd researched it for painting. So when they said, oh, do this, do that, I knew where it was. I then got involved sailing in tall ship races. I then started painting for the tall ships organisation as well. Presentation pieces at conference, they come to me for that. Quite often tall ships painted on charts of the area, either where the conference was or whoever the recipient is. That was always a nice job to do. In fact, even the Friendship Trophy, big silver platter with the tall ships engraved on it. They said to me at the office, can you do a graphic for the new trophy that's going to replace the old silver Cutty Sark ship? So I did the graphic, took it to them. If it's a graphic, I sign it. I didn't realise it was going to be computer etched. So if you can find the Friendship Trophy being presented at one of the races, you'll see all the names of the winning ships around the edge. Mine's the only name on there that's not a boat. Some people find watercolour as a really hard medium. Personally, I prefer it because I can get really fine lines, fine detailed rigging, and once you understand what it's doing, yeah, you can build it up. You still need to give things the right impression of shape and knowing how a mast is supported, how a sail bellies out, and yeah, leaving off certain things. If you've got light coming through a sail, you've got to know what cuts of cloth are. And it's a bit like when I'm doing commissions for people, people say to me, oh, I've got a photo of my yacht, can you paint that? And I say, okay, I can do that, but have you got something with the sails up? Have you got a sail plan? Because I need to know what the cut of that cloth is, where all your sheeting points are. Even, I mean, like you today, you're in your favourite blue jersey. Is that what you normally sail in? So if I'm putting someone on their boat, you don't want to be putting bright yellow and blue oilies if you normally wear a blue Guernsey and a flat cap when you're sailing.
Yeah.
So it's just putting in those little, it might only be a small bit in the painting for someone, but if it's something, say someone's commissioned to give their husband or to give their father, and you want to say, oh, hang on, that looks like me. But also you've got to get some of the other details. If I go and put a really nice blonde in the cockpit, you don't want the wife then saying, who's that you're sailing with?
No.
So it's making sure you get the details right. But then commissions can be fun because I then learn a lot more if it's about yachts and if it's about heritage subjects as well. I like getting involved into the history.
Yeah.
So it can be on sailing ships, it can be on warships as well, because I paint warships as well. It's getting things of the right period. And again, I might do a collection of different warships, maybe that someone has crewed on through the course of their naval career. With marine art, and I think other marine artists admit this as well, it's looking at what's gone before you. So there's favourite artists and looking at their style.
Yeah.
And I like people like W.L. Wiley,
Yeah.
who was famous here at Portsmouth Harbour.
Yes.
Charles Dixon,
Yes.
I really like. These guys also worked for Illustrated London News. They had to do quick sketches, get something over. They had to understand ships. Both of these guys sailed. It also comes down to practice and doing a technique. And you think, yeah, that works fine for a wave, and how you build that up in colour and shape and form. I mean, like you in sailing,
Yeah.
I'm sure you've learnt more maybe by mistakes where things have gone wrong, and you think, okay, I won't do that again. And in painting, maybe it's intuition in doing it. A line will sag.
Yeah.
It's not bar tight.
No. It'd be nice if it was, but it usually
But
isn't.
yeah, it's practice. It's knowing what looks right, what feels right.
Colin, I came in here today just to say hi, really, and see what you'd got. And I'm walking out a wiser man. I've learnt so much about marine art, really. Not only about you, but about how you guys set about it. And I've got to go out to the wide world now, where everything's drab and colourless, and I'm leaving this wonderland. So thank you very much.
Well, thanks very much for coming, Tom. Just let me know what it is I'm selling you to give Roz for her birthday.
Good plan.